Hey Brick fans, I'm Dave from Brick 101, and today I'm reviewing the Five Nights at Freddy's set, Pirate Cove. Today's review is on the Five Nights at Freddy's set, Pirate Cove by McFarlane Toys. This set is number 12032. It contains 94 pieces, and it retails for about $13 in the United States. This set will be available in stores starting in August 2016. There's a link in the description with more information about where this set will be available. Many thanks to McFarlane Toys for providing me this set for free to review. McFarlane Toys is running a giveaway from now to August 14th. There's a link in the description where you can enter to win this set or one of the other McFarlane Toys Five Nights at Freddy's construction sets. Let's start off by looking at the Foxy figure included in this set. This is basically the reason to get this set. This is the only set in the McFarlane Toys line that includes Foxy. Similar to the other McFarlane Toys animatronic figures, Foxy is very detailed. Got lots of great color and shaping. The head is really great. It's got the three hairs sticking up. Great detailing on the ears and the teeth and the mouth. One thing I do want to point out about Foxy's eye. So the printing on Foxy's left eye on the version that I got seems to be a little bit off. If you compare it to the picture that was in the instruction booklet, looks like the eye is supposed to be printed kind of right in the middle there. This happens a lot in toys that there'll be misprinting. This happens on Lego minifigures as well. Not every Foxy head is going to come off the assembly line looking perfect. Mine happens to be looking up a little bit more than straight on. He still looks great with all the detail. So Foxy's torso, when you take off this front piece, you can see these are just holes that show through this printing on the inside of his torso. Very cool kind of clockwork gears stuff going on to represent sort of the inside of the endoskeleton. Nice hand and hook and feet with the endoskeleton showing through. Looks really good. What's really cool about this is since the lower half of the leg is detachable, you can now take off the hand and the leg. So if you take Bonnie from the show stage and then take Foxy's leg and put that in there, lower leg, foot thing, and the hand will be going in the wrong direction, but it's just nice to have that hand. And so I took off the top of Bonnie's head since the heads all are removable. You know, ideally Withered Bonnie would have some ears there, but overall pretty good representation of Withered Bonnie by combining those pieces from Foxy and the normal Bonnie. One thing to note if you build Withered Bonnie like this, Foxy's lower leg is a little bit taller than Bonnie's lower leg, so I detach Bonnie's other lower leg a little bit just so it matches up with Foxy's leg and it doesn't get too wobbly. If you're a huge Foxy fan, don't forget to check out my video on how to build custom Foxys at a few different sizes. Now let's take a look at the main build of the set. So we've got Foxy, who we looked at already. Then we've got this curtained off corner of Pirate's Cove. The curtains are a paper piece that you actually need to fold yourself. I had a little bit of difficulty doing the folding. Once they're on, they move around pretty well, so you can open them up. Foxy has a little spot that Foxy stands on. Put Foxy in place. So you can, kind of have Foxy peeking out. You can have the curtains open and Foxy gone, depending on what, phase of Pirate's Cove you're trying to recreate. So if you flip the curtains up, there's not much to the build itself. Inside there's a ship's wheel and one of these speaker pieces. The floor is again these realistic looking wood tiles, which look pretty great. And there's the sorry out of order sign. The rest is just some basic walls. Kind of build up the corner with these black and white printed bricks, which are pretty cool. The sorry out of order sign, nicely printed. It's also attached in a very interesting way. So again, these are not Lego pieces. This is McFarlane Toys construction. So they have pieces that don't exist in Lego. So there's this really interesting piece, super tiny. It's basically just a stud and then a really tiny clip. So this actually connects just into the hole in the back of this. So it's a really small, tiny connection. Might actually be hard if you don't have a lot of good dexterity. And then that connects to this bar piece. And then this connects into a 1x2 tile that has 3 different holes in it for wherever you want to connect the bar. So that's a really interesting construction technique using some pieces that don't exist in the Lego system. Now, some of you might have noticed that the sorry out of order sign is maybe not exactly where it would be in the game. Rather than being over in this corner, should be over in this corner to look exactly like it does in the game. If you feel that way, it's very easy to rearrange these floor tile pieces to get that over there. Let me just quickly do that so you can see that. So now we've moved the sign over so it's on the correct side of Foxy peeking out of the curtain to really match this look from the game. So one other thing I want to point out about this set is this little 1x6 protrusion over here. At first I thought this was like a step up to the stage, but actually it's so you can connect this set to the other Five Nights at Freddy's sets. If you look back at our show stage build, there are strategic 1x6 holes around the whole edge of the thing where you can kind of slide this set in, and you can easily move this from one place to another on the set itself. So if you wanted to have Pirate's Cove right off to the side there, you can do that. If we were trying to recreate Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, I believe Pirate's Cove would be about here relative to the show stage, because there'd be the dining area, and there's some other route. I think backstage would go over here. So you can't really connect it accurate to the game without building a whole lot of other stuff. But it is nice that they made this way for you to easily connect it to where some of the doors are in that show stage. Since we're talking about putting different things together, I also wanted to address McFarlane Toys bricks compatibility with Lego elements. Since I'm primarily a Lego channel, many of my fans are most familiar with the Lego system and not other brands of building blocks. So here's a McFarlane's block that I picked up. This is a Lego base plate. Connects pretty well, has good clutch power. In fact, it connects a little bit stronger than a Lego piece to itself, so you have to put in a little more force to disconnect it. On the reverse, if you take a Lego brick and connect that on top of a McFarlane brick, it's a little bit looser than a regular Lego to Lego or McFarlane to McFarlane connection. So again, McFarlane on top of Lego, little tighter. Lego on top of McFarlane, little looser. So I suspect they're using a slightly different specification for the diameter of their cylinders, which is, what makes the connections tight, what creates clutch power, as we call it. So that's just something good to know. Interesting thing to note about McFarlane blocks, because they all have holes in the top, it's actually pretty easy to offset them from layer to layer because you can connect them more easily to the in-between points on the bottom. So for instance, this is a 1x8 and a 1x3 of McFarlane. We could connect it on the end, or we could connect it one in. But McFarlane, it's really easy to connect it centered in between those two connections when you're going that way. Doesn't work as well when you're building on top with a smaller brick on top of a larger brick, just because the edges of this brick will disconnect. But when you have a smaller brick under a larger brick with McFarlane, you can kind of offset it very easily without using a separate offset plate. So that is an interesting aspect of McFarlane bricks. One interesting piece that McFarlane Toys creates that I wanted to point out is this piece right here, which is similar to what we would call a headlight or Erling brick in Lego, but different construction. The way it works is that when you add a tile to it, then it ends up being flush with what would be the normal brick edge. So if I put two tiles on this, it now has essentially become a 1x1 brick. So you can see it sits flush with this regular one wide brick there. So this is definitely one of those pieces that tempts me to mix it in with some of my Lego builds. If you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, and particularly if you love Foxy, this is a great little set to pick up. If you haven't already seen it, be sure to check out my review of The Show Stage, and stay tuned for my reviews of The Office and the 8-bit figures. Flipping the curtains up, there's not much... Curtains, stay up. I'm Foxy, Foxy, Foxy.